Corby, happy 30th birthday. I know you're going out tonight. I know you raised up Brandy, your wife. Don't drink too much. Get an Uber. Y'all stay safe. Brandy. Yeah, you, Brandy. Take care of my boy.
Record button, hit. Seltzer, cracked. We will get to it. Welcome back, might I say, a few weeks later to the Why Do Boys Make podcast, the only podcast on this plane of existence about the legendary Why Do Boys Play Games Fantasy Football League. My name is Corby, and I will be your host for episode 1 of season 3, baby. It is August 23rd, 2023, and it is almost draft season. And like fantasy drafts, it is much more fun to make a podcast with your friends. I am honored to be joined by two of the most prestigious fantasy managers I have ever been in a league with. I feel terrible to introduce them one over the other, so I will introduce them both at the same exact time. Colin and Fitzy, is it good to be back, or is it good to be back?
Corby, we hit the record button, and I'm ready to hit the launch button on a new season. Not to get into the old tropes too fast, but we're ready to launch things off just right. Colin, how are you feeling for this year?
Well, I think I'm feeling the same as everyone, which is positively fantastic. The draft hasn't happened yet. I'm not looking at my team crying about the players I spent, too much money on, or the ones that got away. I haven't lost any games. This is my favorite part of the entire year, along with the draft itself. But I mean, it's nothing but blue skies right now. So feeling real optimistic.
Speaking of blue skies, let's go back a little bit and go to blue skies for one of our league mates. Let's just go back and talk about what happened very briefly with the championship matchup. If you'll recall, we had Adam B versus Tyler, the battle of the Big Y boys. Or it was XXXXX, help, XXXXX versus Tyler. This was a blowout. Adam B secures another victory in the Why Do Boys Play Games Hall of Fame with 161.54 to 72.42. Most notably here, we can see that Patrick Mahomes went absolutely bananas like he always does. ETN was on fire. Eckler was on fire. Jacoby Myers was... I guess I missed that. Yeah, and you can see on the other side, Justin Jefferson kind of let him down with one catch for 15 yards. He let Tyler down.
Yeah, and Josh Allen. This was the Hamlin game that got canceled. Is it possible that Josh Allen could have scored like 90 points and put Tyler over the top? It's nearly mathematically impossible. But I would say there was maybe a 1 in a billion chance. So should they have split the pot? Maybe you decide.
Now, Colin, you say 90. I want to make this clear for the audience. That is not an exaggeration because Adam won this matchup by 89.12 points. Now, that is, of course, the biggest point differential in championship history. But, Josh Allen didn't play. So I did a quick dive in, and I'm going to first put a big asterisk on this. We have 10 years of history under our belt in this league, so it's a decent sample size to work with. Let's start off by giving Tyler credit for Josh Allen's points. He was projected for 24.15. Feels like a decent median outcome for somebody like Josh Allen. That would have given Tyler 96 points, the lowest in championship history. That's still not fair. I mean, Josh Allen is really good, right? So let's say he puts up at least 33 points. That's what he would have needed to end up as the second lowest scorer in championship history. Just ahead of Tyler, when Colin put the smack down on him in the inaugural championship in 2013, 184 to 105. But okay, Josh Allen, he's capable of truly great things. Let's give him 40 points instead. That's how much it would have taken to vault him up to fourth lowest all time, just ahead of Tyler. The year that Chris P got his first belt with a paltry 121 to 112 score back in 2017. So, quick lightning round, not counting Josh Allen's theoretical game, this score was 64 points below the average championship loser. Adam didn't have an ideal showing either. Want to give him some credit, though. He put up a pretty respectable score. However, if he had scored the average championship number of points at 177, he would have beat Tyler by over 100. The average winner would have won by 100. I want to say that again. So this has been a lot of piling on Cash. We're not here to pile on Cash. We're not here to pile on Taylor. We're not piling on anyone this year. I want to give Cash some credit because you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. 2 members of the league have never made the championship. Mike, and it's maybe not fair to say it given the tenure, but Brandy. Eric, Taylor, and the brothers Chris, Colby, and Cloud have only made it once each. That means that half the league has played in 1 or fewer championship matchups. Adam, Colin, Corby, Chris P, you're some of the strongest annual contenders in the league. You've all made 2. I've been in it 3 times, and Tyler has been in 50% of all of our league's championships. He hasn't won it since we were a 10-team league back in 2014, which means last year's meltdown has to sting all that much more. But I'm going to sprinkle in my first bet of the year up front on the pod. I bet that Tyler will make it to the finals this year.
I don't think he will.
No.
Lock it in, boys.
Normally
we're
you're
already
a field
rolling.
guy. You're usually taking the field, but you're giving us the field this time.
I'm a new man.
The first of many have been birthed in the first 10 minutes of this podcast. Speaking of births, let's go on to the biggest birth of... This is such a stupid thing, Fitzy. All right, this is Fitzy's weird, horny, dark, twisted fantasy thing where he wants to find out who the biggest loser is. Okay, so these things are color coded. Fitzy, what can you keep talking and explain this to me?
I don't understand the confusion, but I feed on it. I want to say that up front. The fact that we can never quite understand what's going on here is my favorite thing. I want to give credit to Colin for putting the notes together and color coding this very easily, so neither of us had to do the research. In week 17, Taylor versus Chris Cloud for the ultimate biggest loser toilet bowl matchup. Taylor puts up 163.56 off the back of Mike Evans in his 51-point game. Chris Cloud, the same week, puts up 163.76, led by Tom Brady's 42-ish points swan song. So Taylor is the biggest loser in an absolute photo finish. Colin, I think you had some notes here.
I just thought it was funny to note that both of these players outscored Adam in the championship game, which to me just goes to show how silly, the playoffs are just such a small sample size. I'll take whoever succeeds in the much larger sample size of a regular season, personally.
Thought you might. Now, did you have any notes about last season? Moving on to just talking about last year.
I feel like maybe the thing we talked about most from last year with you was you, Fitzy, and your infamous start. I think you started 0-8. It was every week. It was a fun. We were waiting for that one victory, and then when they came in droves. You had a decent finish. Once Justin Fields got started, he really got finished. So, did you guys have any other fun stories?
We had a number of noteworthy games last year, including a big old platter of 200 burgers. It starts out with a beatdown from Colin. Eric's not even able to muster a 100-point hot dog. So Colin, you're not able to put up any 30-point explosions, just solid production up and down the board from Jamar Chase, Cordero Patterson, Michael Pittman, and your leading scorer on the week, Carson Wentz. Our next 200 burger of the year came in week 4, and it's a bit of a surprise. It was the up and down Piston team of the year, Taylor, putting up 200 on my good friend Corby. The noteworthy thing here is that Taylor scores only 1.48 points from QB2, Brian Hoyer. He had TJ Hawkinson's, Josh Jacobs, and Mike Evans all go over 30. And notably, his bench had 4 players playing, and they only scored 11.1. It's a classic top-heavy explosion going on this team.
If I remember correctly, this TJ Hawkinson game is like a historic tight end game for fantasy football. That's nice.
8 for almost 180 and 2 touchdowns. Yeah, real solid from TJ. Poor Corby with 100 points on your bench. Noteworthy about this one is that the week after this, Taylor would collapse down to putting just 107 points up, a reduction of over 100. Josh Jacobs still repeated his 30-point performance, but TJ Hawkinson went down from 38 to 1.6, and Chase Edmonds gave him a 0.1. Without Brian Hoyer in the matchup, he got a goose egg from Teddy Bridgewater instead. And then the week after that, not to pile on, but it was the infamously bad week in which all of his bench points were scored by Teddy Bridgewater. He puts up 62.04 points total. Teddy Bridgewater came in and played on his bench after Skylar Thompson, who Taylor started, got knocked out after scoring 4 points. Got a goose egg from Elijah Moore and Mo Alley Cox. And his top scorer, not named Kyler Murray, was Rondell Moore with a 10.9. Another final note, just because it's too much fun. He started Mike Boone in the RB2 spot.
Was he in Denver?
In Denver. He got 1 catch for 3 yards and 1 rush for 1 yard.
Holy fucking shit.
Not to spoil it, the next notable performance last year was my team when I just pathetically put up 103 the next week. So Taylor, just I live in a glass house when I throw these stones. Let's talk about
62, but keep going.
Let's move on from the bad and start talking more about the good. Our next 2 hundo comes from Tyler getting one of my favorite fantasy results. It's a 200 burger in which his defense puts up ungodly production. Dallas grabbing 25 points. Counterintuitively, his second leading scorer on the week, scoring even more than Dallas, was a wide receiver playing against Dallas. Cooper Kupp and Justin Jefferson on the same team was stupid, and this was a great picture of how stacked Tyler's team was, especially early on before injuries hit it. Our next 2 hundo comes from Adam, winner of the league, in my least favorite 2 hundo burger of the year. So this was even better than Taylor's because Adam gets a good result from his QB2. Malik Willis getting 1.4 points. Jalen Waddle and Tony, Adam's got to get this guy Pollard, put up over 30, and Travis Etienne and Jacoby Myers both pitched in over 20. I said this was my least favorite because this was my personal 8th loss in a row while I put up 191 points. And this was mentioned in a deep dive last year. Adam won on the back of his defense, outscoring mine by 9 points as he ekes out an 8.9 point victory here. It was the closest 200 burger of the year, with the next closest being Tyler with a 62-point beating of Chris P.
This has got to be one of the highest scoring losing team efforts of all time in this league. I don't know if we talked about that last year, but scoring 192 nearly, that's tough, Fitzy.
Next 200 burger comes from my friend Colin, all the way out in week 14. A lot of talk was had by Colin last year about how he was peaking at just the right time, putting up a 200 burger over Taylor. It's our final 200 burger of the regular season. It's Colin with his second one of the year, putting up a 200 burger with no 30-point scorers, instead getting 28 each from Jared Goff, Jamar Chase, and Miles, Colin's little boy, Sanders. Tyreek chipped in another 24 and soon to be overdrafted Chigakonkwo added 18.5 in the flex.
Who is that?
You don't remember Big Chigas?
No, I don't.
He's my namesake.
Holy moly.
He was the Titans tight end. He's like 6'1".
That's sick.
He's cool.
Notably, Mike White here had an inspired 10.72 point stat line of just passing yards. No scrambling, no touchdowns, just the way the 2022 Jets liked it. And I mentioned this was our final 200 burger of the regular season. Did we have any big blow-ups in the playoffs? Not quite. But in the consolation bracket, we sure did. As Eric Sinkowitz found a way to put up the highest score we have ever seen in the consolation bracket and the second highest meaningless score behind only Corby's week 14 bye back in 2014, in which he put up 238 points. Eric had no 30-point scorers, and 2 of his lowest 4 came from the quarterback position. Just no duds across the board, and 20-point weeks from Dalvin, Goodwin, David Montgomery, and Ramonde. Also, say it with me, Juwan Johnson. So an inspired consolation bracket win here from Eric.
He totally hit the launch button on that one.
He really did, Colin. He really did. So, we talked enough about my team last year. I was going to do some research about, I know I was the best 0-8 team of all time, but was I the best 0-5 team of all? We don't need to talk about my team anymore. That's in the past. Much like Brandy's team name. Don't look at me. I was going through and I wanted to give everybody a Chinese New Year zodiac sign for last year. I got bored after just one because Colin, I just wanted to talk about your team last year. I called it the Year of the Dragon. And I do mean Elite Dragon Joe Flacco, because Colin, you rostered 5 quarterbacks in weeks 7, 8, and 9. Then you rostered 6 quarterbacks in weeks 10 and 11, including a noteworthy 6 quarterback, 2 defense roster in week 10. You then walked into week 12 and had 7 quarterbacks on your roster. So I just want to know, I know we're going to get into it, draft strategy and all. I just need to know, zooming in on this, will you be trying the same strategy this year?
To a lesser extent, I'm almost positive. but I mean, the problem was that I drafted Jared Goff, who was awesome. Well, not awesome, but he was very startable the whole year. And then Carson Wentz, and that Carson Wentz spot just never settled in. So I think I just need, I one Jared Goff caliber player or 2 Jared Goff caliber players. So I'll probably have, CJ Stroud and Kenny Pickett or something. But I'm probably won't be I'm not going to be a Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts. I'm not going to be like Adam and win the league.
The only notes that I had on my season last year was just how unremarkable it was, and just how, I mean, my namesake was a few mid-men at the end of the season, and I'm just looking upwards and onwards at this point. I'm not trying to finish in the middle. I'm trying to finish in first. Speaking of finishing in first, let's talk about some bets that we made last year. Now, there were a lot. I don't know if you guys want to go over all of them or just highlight a few that we think are fun. Or
I think much like selling an album on late night TV in the year 2008, you're going to see them scrolling over your screen right now. Such hits as rushing yards on the season, Mac Jones versus Davis Mills.
Now that was a good one because I think who brought that up? Was it you, Fitzy, or Corby? I forget.
That's an amazing bet. I don't remember this one.
That was a really close one. 6-yard difference. I can't remember, but that was a good one. Whoever did.
The one that pisses me off the most for sure is the Evan Ingram versus Najee Harris one. That one. I hate being wrong, especially about Evan Ingram, and so that one really hurt really bad.
It was extremely vindicating. I was obviously extremely pro Evan Ingram last year, and the fact that it paid off just, it gives me really warm feelings inside.
Look at this one, Brian Edwards, 109 fantasy.
Okay, so I'll admit, I like to have some fun with my bets of the year. I'm actually surprised he made it to 4.5, if I'm being totally honest. He played in like 3 or 4 games last year. That was kind of surprising to me. Good for Brian Edwards. He's, I think, on the Saints this year. He's a practice squad guy. We'll see what happens. Not that I'm paying attention.
So the final tally, we'll also include payments from our guests and such. So Colin owes me $35. Fitzy owes me $10. I owe Cash and Chris Colby $5 each. Adam, I owe $10. Chris Colby owes Fitzy $10. Mike owes each of us $5, and Adam owes Colin $5. I absolutely hosed you, Colin.
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because you definitely like hosed us in the pick'ems, the picking matchups of the week, and then you're clear you should go to Vegas or something, Forget Atlantic City, you got to go to the big leagues. I mean, you probably have gone to Vegas. Go back to Vegas. And then, eat my shit, Adam. $5, yeah.
Corby, I just sent you a Venmo. So
excellent.
Congratulations to Corby on winning.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Colin, were we actually even on the year?
That's what the other thing I wanted to bring up. Yes, me and Fitzy, I forget what the number was, but I'm sure it was dozens and dozens of bets, and we came out exactly even.
That's amazing.
It was like 43. So
wow.
It's pretty incredible how that works.
This is going to be my year. I'm feeling it.
As we're on the subject of winning, we have some awards to finally give out. Everyone, expect your Gamies in the mail because here we are. It's the 2023 Gamey Awards.
All right, so I'll kick it off with the Wheeling and Dealing Award. This goes to the owner with the most trades. I just want to give the runner-ups first. Brandy and Tyler both had 5 trades on the year. Great job, guys. But the winner is... It was me and Chris Colby. We both had 6 trades, so let's try to get those number up this year. What do you say, Chris? I'm sure we had a couple with each other. The next one I had is the All Is Fair Award for the most even trade. This one goes to Eric and Fitzy. Eric received Chris Godwin, who finished as a wide receiver 19 for Dalvin, and Dalvin Cook, who was a running back 11. He got T. Higgins, who finished as wide receiver 18, and Najee Harris, who finished as the running back 14. That's who Fitzy received. Pretty even trade. I don't know if Fitzy, if you felt... I mean, it's even on paper, but I'm pretty sure Najee finished pretty strong last year, so... And you finished 5-1, so I'm sure you were very happy with that trade, right?
I made a note that last year I traded for Devin Duvernay. I was trying to purge my team of bad juju at this time, and obviously it worked. So this was not a numbers trade, it was a juju trade. And I don't mean Smith-Schuster.
So the last one was the All Is Fair trade award. This is the In Love and War award for the most lopsided trade. The worst trade in hindsight. It was Baker Mayfield and Rashad Bateman to Brandy. Baker finished as QB 29. Bateman, wide receiver 111. Not totally fair since he only played like 3 weeks or something. And to Tyler, Brandy sent Tom Brady, quarterback 12, and Chris Olave, surprise rookie, wide receiver 25 to Tyler. Probably helped vault him to the championship game. Chris Olave was really good last year. Huh? He got hurt. He only played like 13, but he could have been a mid wide receiver too, but he got hurt. Okay, the next award is the Good, the Bid, and the Ugly. The best fab offer of the year. This was my favorite award. And this one goes to Mike B for the Christian Watson pickup. This was a really, we'll have the picture up here, but the bids were tight. They were hot. It was like a sauna in there. It was packed. And Mike came out on top. He was the last man standing. And boy, was he sweaty. But once he left, he had Christian Watson, who ended up averaging almost 15 points after this pickup. He was everyone liked Christian Watson down last year. Every week, everyone said it was a fluke. It never was. My final award. This is the Never Give Up, Never Surrender award for the owner who kept moving forward. This goes to Fitzy for starting 0-8 and then finishing 5-1. A lot of managers would have checked out. We've had managers checked out after starting 4-4 or something. Taylor. So way to go, Fitzy. I'm really proud of you.
Colin, I'd like to thank the Academy, and I'd really like to thank my 2 quarterbacks. Our next Gamey Award is the first returning Gamey Award. This one was given by Corby back in 2022, and it is called the Battery Award for the biggest spread between high and low. Corby put it as positive and negative. The nominees are Tyler, who happened to score the highest total in the league last year and the second lowest total, and Taylor, who had the second highest total and the lowest last year. The winner is Taylor for his historically bad week in which he actually had the worst score of all time, factoring out people who didn't set their lineup. Shout out to Mike Sr. So a returning award for the transaction involving Fab that we will look back on and wonder, who was that? I've got some honorable mentions here at $0. Mike, who picked up Ashton Doolin. Adam, who picked up Tyrion Davis-Price. And Colin, this was my favorite one, picking up Ronnie Rivers.
All right, tell me, do you know who it is? Tell me if I'm wrong. Is he a backup for the Chargers, or was he?
Yeah, that's exactly right.
All right, I feel like I kind of remember him.
That rings a bell.
I had no idea this one I had actually no idea who he was. Last year we had some truly I have no idea who these people were. So we had some really, good job picking up. Either we got smarter or we just didn't have to dig to the bottom so much. Now, the true nominees. Adam for picking up both Caleb Huntley for $6 and Robbie Chosen for $6. Mike for picking up Noah Brown for $1. And Tyler for picking up Noah Brown for $4. And the game he goes to Tyler. Noah Brown, $4. I actually had no idea who that guy was. Obviously, Mike and Tyler, you guys are probably better than me.
It's definitely the best because he was picked up twice for 2 separate amounts. That's really amazing.
He's starting for the Texans this year, just an FYI.
What? Really? Okay.
That's him, yeah, in 3 receiver sets.
We'll see him in Stars and Scrubs later on. Let's move on to my first gamey of the evening. This is the Naeem Hindsight is 2020 award, the best overall draft pick from 2022, sponsored by Corby. And the nominees are Fitzy, Justin Fields for $11, Tyler, AJ Brown for $26, Corby, Travis Kelce for $34, Taylor, Jerick McKinnon for $1, and Adam for Garrett Wilson, $1. And the gamey goes to Corby for Travis Kelce for $34. Just a little fun fact on this one. This was just $9 extra that Fitzy paid for Kyle Pitts. I will just toot my own horn here. This is maybe my greatest draft pick of all time.
I don't know if the $9 more than Kyle Pitts highlights how good Travis Kelce is or how bad my pick was. I think that could go either way.
I just want to reiterate, pretty much every year Travis Kelce lead is in top 3 in advance rate, which is like the correlation between drafting him and ending up in playoffs. But last year it was, I don't know if you've seen like the end of season statistics with him and other tight ends. I mean, it was a joke. He was like 100 points. It was just such a bad year for tight ends. He was so insanely valuable. Corby, he should have carried you to the playoffs, but I think this league.
The rest of my team was butt.
It's not even really your fault. It's just that these teams are so deep. But in a smaller league, I'm sure, he carried a lot of people. But he was incredible, and you're right. He's going to go for a lot of money this year.
Our next gamey is another returning gamey. It is the 2nd annual Gage Against the Raheem Award for excellence in player name puns. The nominees are Brandy, for names such as We Can Kirk It Out, The Kittle Mermaid, and B-Dubs, Caribbean Kirk. Colin, for Waka Flocko Flame, who went to be a Hillionaire and Big Chigus. And Mike, for Mimster Jones and Me, the Hearst of the Black Pearl, and As Good as It Commets. And the gamey goes to Brandy, because B-Dubs Caribbean Kirk is maybe my favorite single player pun name of all time. Congratulations, Brandy.
I would like to also compliment the avatar jobs as well. The Kittle Mermaid avatar, fucking art, high art.
And our next one is another very prestigious award. It's the Namey Gamey for season-long team naming. Your nominees are Eric, for such hits as DJ Dallas, $19, Dumbass, Liftoff, and Good. Mike, for his adversarial team naming, including Parktail. And Chris Colby, for the Colby Island archipelago of team names. The gamey goes to Mike, because Mike, you're always changing your team name. We did a bunch of stats last year on how you've done it more than anyone else in the league, and it was quality from front to back last year.
We're going to keep rolling on these Namey awards. Gamies? More like Namies, am I right? This is a new award. This is the Name of Now award. This is the best new name before the season begins. Some people really like to change their team name as soon as the league opens up. And so we've got a few here. Our first nominee is Colin for his name, Mr. Greenface. Our next nominee is Adam for XX from First to Last XX. And finally, it's Corby for No Men at All #monocle emoji. And the gamey goes to Adam for XX from First to Last XX. The things I really like about this name is number one, the style it's all lowercase, which is great. Really reminds me of AIM days. The play on the band from First to Last is great. I know Adam's a big fan of them, and also I like the idea that he's going to go from first place to last place. So I'm totally in. Great job, Adam.
Congratulations.
Could use more X's, if you ask me.
Uh-oh. A challenge. Our next gamey is a prestigious Team of Destiny award. We talked a lot about it in the prior year with Taylor, and we talked about it quite a bit last year as well. Our nominees are Fitzy for starting 0-8 and then making a run at the playoffs. Brandy for starting off 0-3, and I think people forget how strong Brandy's team was in the middle of the season last year. Eric for bottoming out at 2-7 and then hitting the launch button in a 200 burger in the consolation bracket. And Mike, because it really just felt like his year last year. And the game he goes to Eric, launch button, Sinkowitz. Congratulations, Eric. Sorry, Mike. Maybe next year. Our next gamey starts with the family section of the gamies. And this one is the Larry King Memorial Most Recently Married Award. Did you guys know he got married 8 times in his life?
No.
Yeah. So our nominees are Corby. Congratulations, Corby, for getting married to Brandy. Brandy. Congratulations, Brandy, for getting married to Corby. Chris Colby. Congratulations to Chris for getting married to Ashley. And Eric. Congratulations to Eric for proposing to Holly. Lots of families growing in the Why Do Boys Play Games League. And the gamey goes to Brandy, because I'm sorry, Chris, this is last season's awards. So, you got married over the summer. It was kind of after the year had ended. And Brandy wins in a technicality because she said, I do after Corby. So congratulations, Brandy, on being the most recently married.
Fuck. Damn. Got me on that one.
Continuing the familial trend, Father of the Year. Our nominees are Colin, Corby, of course, Corby for adopting Lulu, and Mike for experience on the pickleball court. And the game he goes to Colin for being my daddy and extending his all-time regular season record against me to 13-1. Congratulations, Father.
I look forward to continuing that dominance this year. I hope we play each other twice.
Me too.
Me too. Let's go on to maybe the most prestigious award that we give out here. That would be the co-host of the year award, of course. It's not easy to co-host a podcast, so make sure you ring the bell and subscribe. So the nominees are Colin for having another child and not really taking any time off during this time. Corby for recording video from the Amalfi Coast and uploading it over a 5G card. And Fitzy for not hitting the record buttons, but still putting out a really banger of an episode that one time. And the game he goes to Colin for being number one, the newest co-host, and obviously the most dedicated. So congratulations, Colin.
Thanks, guys. It's so nice. When you have a baby, all they do really is they like need to eat and then they poop and sleep a lot. So, I did have another child running around, but as far as having a baby, second one is small potatoes. The first one will change your life. I know nobody has kids on this league. The first one's a really big deal. The second one is a lot less. It's diminishing returns.
Corby, I would love to go in a circle and say, oh, Corby, I wanted to give it to you. And Colin, you say, oh, no, Fitzy, it's you. But it is just Colin. The dedication was, like you said, 2 children and actually did more work behind the scenes. So
no doubt about it.
I agree. This one should go to Fitzy.
All right. Our final gamey of the year is the His Year Award for whose year it was. Our nominees are Adam, Colin, and Mike. The winner for not just winning our league, but 3 out of 4 total, breaking back into Diamond and growing his Yahoo points by more than 100, about 50 more than anyone else in the league. It is XX, Adam XX. Colin, you peaked at just the right time, and Mike, turns out I was wrong. Just wasn't your year. Congratulations, Adam.
As I said at the top of the show, it's almost draft season, and it's always super fun to go back in time and reminisce on the old draft and think about all those great picks that people made and those old bad picks that people made. So to introduce us for the first edition of Colin's charts, Colin has charts. Let's check them out.
Just a correction, Colin has chart today.
Oh.
But That's okay because it's a good one. Last year a big, I'm always kind of obsessed because I started thinking about fantasy too early, so I'm always thinking about the auction meta. So I was last year I remember I was charting average prices for every position. So okay, so you can see quarterback had a sharp rise last year, and I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to ADP or like just general fantasy discussion this year, but the age of the late round quarterback is over. Okay, the dominance of Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, even in one quarterback leagues, you can't. That's not what people are doing. The Sharks this year are taking the quarterbacks in the first, 4 or 5 rounds. And that equates in fantasy to quarterbacks being, the prime ones being at least 30, 40. I think we'll see some 50 this year. And I think we're going to see this trend continue. The quarterbacks are getting more expensive, and that money has to come out of somewhere. So I think everything else is going to keep getting less expensive, especially running backs, which right now are kind of dominantly expensive. But we've seen the same thing in ADPs. We'll see. There's a lot of running backs that you see. I mean, what are the first round running backs? It's McCaffrey, Eckler, and I've in some
Saquon.
drafts. Yeah, no, well, in some drafts that's pretty much it. I think Saquon might be in double digits almost. Bijan sometime usually he's
Bijan, yeah.
yeah. So these guys, but they're all like ninth, 10th. I think Saquon was pretty high up there, but I think the holdout thing and then the ADP's lagging a bit, so he's still kind of late. But these guys who you used to see first, like Chubb, he had a really good year last year. Mixon, I guess not, but Derrick Henry, these guys used to be guys who would be first round, like chalk it up. Not anymore. Receivers are king now. So I think we'll see a rise maybe in receivers a bit or just quarterbacks. But the point is, the average quarterback price last year was about $16. I think that's going to keep going on. And so I have it right here. The average quarterback price was $16.1 dollars. And I'd like to make another bet to you guys. It was 16 last year. It was a little under 15 the year before. I think this year we will see the average quarterback of the top like 30 quarterbacks will be at least $20. A $4 rise, which is unprecedented in this league. Would you guys take that or
You
no?
you think you're taking the over,
I'm taking
or you're just taking 20?
over 20 or
Yeah.
above.
Yeah,
And
I'll take I think I'll take the under on that.
And you're gonna throw out any $1 quarterbacks that get drafted at the end. You say top 30.
Yeah, we won't say 32 because there's always like one or two starters like Davis Mills last year who are like just going to be $1. So
I don't think it'll rise that much, but I think it'll definitely rise. I don't think it'll be that much though.
I think just the top few will like buoy it enough to be above 20. But go ahead, Fitzy. What were we gonna say?
Without running the numbers, I think I agree with Corby on this one. I do agree it's going to rise, but a $4 jump is as you said, unprecedented.
Yeah, I will say I averaged it, or it's all projected obviously, but I compared it to past auctions and then I did the same trends, and the average was like 19.1. So even my projections don't say that, but obviously auction is unpredictable. So I'm just gonna say that because largely of Adam's success last year with running, and he's been running dual quarterback forever. I think people are going to feed off that a bit. I don't know how much people pay attention to that stuff if they're researching that, but Adam won last year, and a big part of it was obviously Mahomes. So I think we'll just see that up and up. So that's Colin's charts. Just wanted to kick off that discussion of last year's draft with that.
Thank you, Colin.
Yeah, thank you, Colin. That's very interesting.
Yeah.
It definitely like reminds I get like flashbacks to my draft strategy last year. So my strategy last year was like I want to spend. I think the maximum I spent on somebody was Derrick Henry. I think it was like $53, and I think that was bad. And I think that I did not spend enough money on like my wide receivers, like Cortland Sutton. I thought he was a steal, and I was so excited to like get him, and he was awful. And so my I don't know. What's my strategy this year? Probably go dual QB, honestly. So I don't fucking know yet because, like you said, auction is completely unpredictable. I have no idea what's going to happen. I'll never be able to predict it. My actual strategy is to nominate my defense first, so I can just get it out of the way.
All right, who's the defense this year, Corby?
I actually have no idea yet. I'll probably figure that out like 10 minutes before the draft starts. Probably Cowboys or something. I don't know.
Yeah, my draft strategy is pretty much just to draft better. Corby, think of it as a shout out with Justin Fields for 11. Let it not be forgotten that I drafted Ryan Tannehill for 13 in that same draft. So.
I
Well,
mean,
when I saw Fitzy's
come
name, I thought
on.
it was going to be for Jalen Hurts, who I know was still like probably $30 or maybe just
34.
but that's still for Jalen Hurts. Was he QB1? I think he was. I don't know, but he was so good. He was incredible last year.
Yeah, I feel like him, Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Lamar are like not gonna go for less than 40 each. I don't know.
Yeah, it is funny how well, even if they do go for less than 40, I feel like that's still an undervaluation of quarterbacks in a 2-quarterback league. Like if you look at 2-quarterback league meta, like online, like it's always like, oh, quarterback first, and the first few picks in a auction in ADP, like they should all be like at least 50. But you zig and zag, and I'm a zagger. I'm looking forward to spending less than $20 on quarterback this year.
You're going to spend less than 20 on 7 quarterbacks this year.
No, I think I'll set my ceiling to 30 this year, but we'll see. If I see a value, I'll take it. I'll take Herbert for 25 or something, but I don't think that'll happen. It's just an example.
So why don't we go on to this next little section? So we usually, for the past few years, we've done like a star, a middle round, and a late round person. But I think we're changing it up a bit. This section is now called Scrubs and Stars. I want you boys to give me a star that you are not going to leave the draft without, and a scrub that you are not going to leave the draft without.
I mean, I don't. Obviously, that it's a bit hyperbolic to say I'm not going to leave without them. Everyone has their price. Corby, I mean, I hate showing my hand, but this is like my number one, like truly, hand to God, it's my number one ranked player. I have the first overall pick in the 2 tight end league. This is probably who I'm taking. You already know who I'm talking about, Corby. It's Travis Kelce. Like I said, he was unbelievably valuable last year. I don't think this is going to be I think this will be I don't see tight end getting much better this year behind Travis Kelce. Everyone's going gaga over Mark Andrews and the new Todd Monken offense, but they got Lamar's still Lamar. I think Mark Andrews will have a good year, but Kelce is Kelce. I'm taking Travis Kelce. He's my number one. I'll go to 60.
Wow. Damn, that's.
And I'll see you there, Corby.
That's insane. I would. Go ahead.
That's a dangerous bit of information to put out there, Colin, because now once you've got him up there for 54, someone can very.
I'll be happy to go to 60. I'll do a Damian Pierce and I'll nom him at 60.
Oh man.
Fitzy, who's your star that you're aligning with?
So I'm not gonna, reveal the number, obviously, but as I look at, top players, I know that I'm not going to get Corey Davis because I just value Chris Olave more. I think Chris Olave is going to have a really, really good second year in the league. You know me, I'm a Derek Carr guy. I think Derek Carr is actually going to be pretty good. Look at what he did for Devontae Adams last year. Wink, wink. Yeah. Did Devontae Adams do it for him? We can debate. But yeah, Chris Olave is a guy that I love at the top of drafts.
My star. All right. I've apparently missed the boat on this guy past 2 years because I thought this guy was very overrated until I watched him play football. His name is the Sun God. It's Amon-Ra St. Brown. I want to join this party where that everyone apparently is having an amazing time on, and I am not leaving this draft without him. I don't care if he's hurt right now. He's going to be great. I'm so excited.
To show you how out of the loop I am, when you said the Sun God, my first thought was Robbie Chosen.
No, he's RC now. He's like a remote
That's right.
control. He's remote controlling.
RC Cola, baby.
Yeah,
Sun
RC Cola.
Let's go. Let me lead off with the scrub here because this is my section. So this is a guy that I actually owned him in the salary cap. I can't remember what year I owned him, but he was somebody I owned a long time ago. And my scrub is Ezekiel Elliott. Does this guy suck? Yes. Is he cheap? Yes. Will he maybe fall into the end zone like 8 times? Possibly. Count me in for fat Zeke, and I want to watch him eat. He'll be like $1. I don't fucking care.
My scrub. This is like Corby. This is a guy who I rostered last year. I think that's an easy scrub to find. It's a guy you've got some sentimental value attached to. Fitzy talked about him a little last year, and I remember before our matchup, because he was outscoring everyone on Fitzy's team, not named Jalen Hurts. His name, he plays for the Lions behind a hurt Amon-Ra St. Brown. His name is Josh Reynolds, who
No.
nobody is drafting right now. And why? Because he for the first like 8 weeks before Jameson came back, and I don't know what else happened. I think DJ Chark came back too, because I think he broke his ankle after week 1 or something. He hurt his ankle. But when he was starting, he was startable. He was a 10-point per game flex player for the first like 8 weeks of the year. He was solid, and when we're seeing that again, he's the number 2. Who else is gonna, everyone's talking about Jahmyr Gibbs, okay, and like I don't know who's catching balls out there because they're gonna throw a lot, all right. And who are they throwing to? Josh Reynolds, who's just standing in the corner. Nobody wants to dance with him. I'll dance with you, Josh.
I would like to laugh at that one, Colin. But you've been the Hunter Renfro guy. You've always got the nose for these like.
Yeah, it was Jacoby
like
last year.
Yeah, these Jason Witten-esque, just throw it 10 yards down the field. He might be open type of guy. Now, that's your track record. Last year in this segment, I brought up Flex Burkhead, who, listen, we laughed. He scored 12 PPR points in week 1. And this year, it's hard to call this guy a scrub because he went 5th overall in the draft, not even 7 years ago. It was the 2017 NFL draft. He went 5th overall. Had a bit of a slow start, had a bit of a slow end, but I think he might actually have a chance this year despite the competition. Yes, I'm talking about New York Jets star wide receiver, Corey Davis. What do you guys think?
Corby or Fitzy, didn't you hear the news? Or
What news? I've been watching Hard Knocks. He looks great.
He just retired.
Corey Davis retired, Fitzy.
Yeah, he just retired.
Oh, it's all smoke. He'll be there week 1. You just watch.
You think it was like a TV thing? You think it was like, it's just a ploy?
Is this
That's
your
right.
new totem? Is Corey Davis your new totem? Is this what this is?
Dude, he's my old totem.
Oh my fucking god!
I believed in him in Tennessee. I was so excited for him to be on the Jets. It's very sad. In all honesty, I did hear the news. It's very sad that somebody like Alan Lazard is going to be the one that pushes him out of the league.
Oh,
Randall Cobb is pushing Corey Davis out of the league. Think about that. Yeah. Anyway, love you, Aaron. Talking to my fan of the pod, Aaron Rodgers. Good luck this year.
Fitzy loves you more than your family loves you, Aaron Rodgers.
So, joking aside, the reason why I bring up some of these, joke answers are because I don't want to tip my hand, and I don't want you to either, listeners, but I do want to hear what you have to say. This year, we are having a video entry for the pre-draft process in the style of Jeff Probst, Survivor, Tribal Council. I am calling on you to write down a player's name on a piece of paper, record you doing it, show it to the camera, talk about why you are going to draft, as an example, Corey Davis, for at least $25. Fold up that paper and put it down in front of you. We will reveal your video submissions after the draft. You can submit them before the draft to the email showing on your screen now and in the description. We will not review these videos prior to the draft. You can trust us, and we will show them afterwards.
So you will see us, and we will see you after the draft. Let's move on to the money-making scheme that is my secondary job. That is the bets of the week / year. I'm looking forward to winning some more money. Colin, I didn't bring any with me, but your gushing of Josh Reynolds has inspired me to make a bet with you. I bet that Detroit Lions tight end Sam Laporta will outscore Josh Reynolds on the year in fantasy points.
So I was no lifing earlier this summer, and I projected every single team's stats. I have Sam Laporta. I have for 143.05. Josh Reynolds 147. Chalk it up. That's a bet.
Let's go.
It's been a long time since we talked about adjusted ranking. But this year, Brandy is going to get it done and have a better adjusted ranking than you.
This year, Brandy will not get it done, and I will have a better adjusted ranking than Brandy.
Lock it in.
Put it on the board.
You know what? Last year I made this really bad bet, really stupid bet that Corby refused to take. But Fitzy took me up on that. J.D. McKissick would be the #1 running back in Washington.
Yeah, after I saw that on this list, I was like, damn, I totally should have made that.
Well, I have a similar one, but to a much safer degree. But you can still take the field. Everyone hates him. It's DeAndre Swift. Do you think he'll be the #1 running back in Philadelphia?
Yes, I do.
But Kenny Gainwell is splitting first team reps with him over there in Philadelphia.
If anyone has actually seen Kenny Gainwell play football, they will know that DeAndre Swift is much better.
Does Kenny not gain well?
He gains all right.
Is he not enough for you?
I'm with you, is what I'm trying to say. Fitzy, are you in against Colin?
I'll give you a Rashad Penny for my thoughts. I'm in, Colin.
Awesome.
Watch them sign Kareem Hunt and just...
Oh my
Penny's gonna get
god.
cut.
They're going to trade for Jonathan Taylor.
And he will probably...
Yeah.
Oh my god, if they trade for fucking Jonathan Taylor, that would be so funny.
So like I said, I have a bet. I did season-long projections, and many things surprised me about what I drew up. You know, I became a numbers guy last year, and I ended up having a great year. So I'm going to keep being a numbers guy. And I'm going to put aside my biases. This year, Bijan Robinson's a hot name, and I have this guy scoring more points than him. You can call him my RB4. His name is Joe Mixon. What? I have him being a better running back than Bijan Robinson. Just Joe Mixon points over Bijan Robinson. Do you guys want this?
Yes.
I actually don't hate that, Colin. I'm kind of low on Bijan this year, so I am out. Corby, good luck.
Yeah, I'm. It's not that I'm in on Bijan. I'm just out on Joe Mixon.
You had him last year. About his 50
I'm
point.
so out for one fucking week.
I
am so out on him.
Just for context, I think he's being drafted at I don't know where he's being drafted, around the 3rd round. Joe Mixon, Bijan right around the 1-2 turn, I think, maybe late first. So people do not like Joe Mixon this year. I like Joe.
Now, I don't have 100% confidence that either of you are going to take this one, but we've seen Yahoo points swing like crazy in just a few weeks. And my bet is a very simple one, that this is not Taylor's year to make silver, even for 1 week.
So you
What's
think
he at
what
is he at right now?
He is at 534.
Oh my god.
Oh, he's definitely not good. He's definitely not making silver this year.
Okay, so we all are betting that he will have best finish bronze 10x next to his name next season.
I would bet my life savings on it. Very comfortably.
Oh, sorry, Taylor.
I'm sorry, Taylor. I feel terrible, but
Maybe, you know what? I'll parlay this into another. Taylor drafted quarterbacks over under 2.5. This is a positive. I will take the over.
I'll take the under. I think I'll do 2.
That was fast. I like it.
I'll skip this one.
I'll never skip a bet. Speaking of bets, I got one more. Fitzy, let me know if this man has hurt you, and we can censor out his name, okay? Again, season-long projections. I have him as my tight end 16. Kyle Pitts. Will he finish as a top 12 tight end? If you've ever looked at whoever finishes as number 12 last year, I don't know who it was, but it's usually pretty ugly names. I don't even know where Kyle Pitts finished last year. I think maybe 17 or something. I have him at 16 this year. Everyone's still hyped up on him. He's still going in. What's he going as? Let me check real quick. I have it right here. He's going as tight end 6. He's going above Evan Ingram.
Yeah, it makes sense.
He's going above Evan Ingram, Pat Freiermuth, David Njoku. Can you believe it?
So you think
Chigakonkwu,
so you don't think he'll finish top 12?
he won't be top 12.
He will be top 12.
He will be top 12.
You guys are clowns. Absolutely not. I don't know how he's going to be better with Desmond Ritter and Marcus Mariota, but I guess we'll see.
More like Desmond Shitter.
Nice.
If if we are out of bets, then it looks like we are out of time. Before we go, I want to remind you to try to do the tribal council thing. That would be super fun. We would really appreciate it. It would be an awesome time to get everybody on here, everyone who is willing to. Of course, we have a laundry list of things that you need to do. You obviously have to ring the bell. You obviously have to subscribe. You obviously have to tell your parents about us. You have to tell your mom about us. You have to tell your dad about us. You have to tell your boss about us. You know, anybody who enjoys fantasy football and especially playing games, they would love this podcast. So subscribe and tell your friends. As always, I'm Corby.
I'm Fitzy.
And Colin.
And we will see you after the draft, gamers. Game on!
City's breaking down on a camel's back. They'll just have to go